going, y'all?
Okay, you guys, I don't know if you're ready for us tonight. We're coming in hot tonight.
You were missing some serious dance moves from Sierra when that intro was playing.
Oh, yeah. I thought about carrying it over, and then I'm like, no, I'll save it for later. I will do dance moves later. But hey, everybody. Hi, it's so good.
Oh, I'm holding you to that. Y'all, she just said she's going to do some dance moves later. So listen, I'm going to be like, time for a dance party.
Well, Chrissy was busting out some Beyonce before we jumped on, and I'm like, okay, I'm here for this. And I'm living off of Dayquil today, so I am like, yeah, let's do it. They're like, whoa, Sarah. Everyone, hi. It's so good to see so many familiar names and faces and new ones. Hi. Okay, so we are going to talk about mid-year and how everybody's doing.
Y'all,
can I just be like cliche for a second though, and like say, how is it already the middle of the year?
Yeah, I know.
Yes. I'm curious, how has everyone's 2022 been?
Yes, please tell us. How are you guys doing? How has the first half of the year been for you? And I want to see honesty, because I mean, let's be honest, this first year, I know for me, it has gone by so fast. And I'm like, how are we here? And as I've been kind of contemplating what the second half of the year is going to look like for me, I have a very different mindset today than I did back in January when I was doing my goals. So how are you guys feeling about the goals that you set? And if you didn't set any, that's okay. Do you feel different than you did in January? Because I think that's an important question to ask. Yeah, I mean, this year's just been wild. Wild.
Yeah, I totally agree. Q2 for me was so much better than Q1.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Dana, I feel you on that. And it's been hard for all of us. I've talked about this in some of our other lives within Club Moxie and whatnot, but we did a poll at the beginning of the year just to take a pulse on how everyone was doing in regards to their time and energy bandwidth, and how they were feeling with, going deep into a second year of the pandemic and all of the nuances that includes. And over 85% of the respondents and we had over, was it 300 or 400? I can't remember. It was a lot that had said that they were experiencing a significant time and energy deficit, and also experiencing mental health challenges that they didn't have previously, or maybe did before, but there was an uptick in it. So, this time has been crazy. Being a goal setting company and talking about achieving things that tend to happen at the upper scale of thriving and designing what we like, we've really had to scale back and have different conversations around, well, what does it look like to just maybe get by or survive and do the best thing that's next, that kind of keeps us going, and not necessarily those big dreams and goals that we had. So we want to give you permission. If you feel behind, you're perfectly on time.
Yeah, but to add to that, I think that's what I love so much about, there's a lot of things I love a lot about Moxie Life, and I know I'm biased, but I think that's one thing that I love about the company and the messaging is that while, yes, like we're scaling back the messaging and saying like, we know it's overwhelming, like what's that next best step that you can do to like get by today, there's also so much permission to take baby steps and work on the stuff that will compound in your life in a way that like you don't necessarily realize in the day-to-day until you look back a few months later and you're like, wait a second, I'm in a totally different place than I was 6 months ago, even though I felt like I was just getting by.
Yeah. Yeah. And survival mode is real, and burnout is real. And when we've been at max capacity for so long, sometimes those little things that we took for granted that we maybe consider maintenance goals in our system. If you're not familiar with what those are, our freebie library on our website has all kinds of tools and resources. So if you're new to us, welcome. If you're not familiar with our process, there's a lot of resources and tools there, but we have 3 types of goals that we talk about, which is our maintenance goals that kind of keep life going. If they were to fall apart, or fall back on, we tend to go more into survival mode. There's progress goals that get us from where we're at to where we want to go. And then of course, there's those big stretch goals that require a lot of time and energy and effort. And sometimes when we're in spaces of survival or burnout, we need to focus more on those maintenance goals just to keep things going. And so there's a lot of permission to do that too. Sometimes it's not always going for that big pie in the sky or those really big audacious goals that you have. And it's okay to just say, you know what, today, I just want to take a shower today. I'm going to say no to cleaning because I need to rest. I need to cancel those plans because my soul is weary. It's totally fine. And those are goals too. And no goals, saying no to things, are goals as well. So it's not always just taking things in.
Heck yeah, they are.
Yes.
We are embracing
I've been loving the no goals. The no goals have been great. Literally, I just be smiling. No, thank you. I'm good.
No.
No, I don't think so.
I put a smile on my face and everything.
I'm curious to the viewers, are you guys comfortable saying no? Because that was a really, really big issue for me for many years. And I didn't feel comfortable until I hit my 40s to like disappoint people. And then now I'm like, no, not having it.
I think for me, and something that I've realized in the last few months is that I don't have a problem with saying no. I have a problem with the FOMO that comes when I do say no. So like internally, I would rather say yes and take too much on than miss out, which is ridiculous to me. But I'm becoming more self-aware with that flaw.
You definitely get FOMO.
Yeah. I was messaging Sierra last week and I was like, Sierra, I have like a serious issue right now because I'm so jealous of my neighbors with a pool. Like, I'm so jealous. I'm like sitting here and I'm like, because like, okay, guys, I'm a creep. I can see into one of my neighbors' backyards from my like office. And I'm like, they're at their pool. I'm so jealous. I wish I had a pool. And like, it was like eating away at me. But I finally got a $45 pool in Target the other day. So I said to my husband this weekend, I was lying in the pool and I'm like, I don't know FOMO anymore.
Yes. I love it. I know. I love it. And she sent me a photo yesterday and she's like, living my best life. I'm like, yes. I love it. Okay. So I'm seeing a whole lot of people embracing no. And that's amazing. I love that. And if you're not there yet, here, just come talk to us. We'll give you, we'll be your hype squad. We'll give you permission to say no.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm conscious of time. I kind of want to give you guys an idea of the agenda for today. This will last about an hour. We'll take questions at the end if you guys have questions. This is a very informal chat. Feel free to make it a happy hour. We've all got our drinks of choice. Mine is water today because I'm not feeling very well. So anyway, yeah, all of us, I think. But anyway, we are going to give you, I have 3 considerations and some powerful questions, and that we'll kind of talk about, share some of our experiences and some tips around that, about things to consider as you go into the second half. Now, this is whether you use our system or not. So we always try to be as friendly to consider what systems you might be using. We do have a PDF that will have some powerful questions for you that is available inside of our free Facebook group. Once someone from the team will go ahead and post a link to that. If you're on YouTube and watching this on YouTube, be sure to click that and join, and you can go ahead and access it as soon as this live is done. And also that will be going out in our email. Thanks to Chrissy doing her amazing marketing magic. It will also be going out to anyone on our email list, and so you can access it that way. But we have 3 considerations for you to think about. The first one, and I think that this is really important, coming off of what we were just talking about. And you guys are going to see this quote way more than we've had it before in the future. But I really, this to me encompasses everything that Moxie Life is and everything that we stand for. But that, goal setting is more about who you become in the process, or is as important as, oh my gosh. I say this so much too. I say it so fast and people are like, wait, what did you just say? And I'm totally, this is Dayquil. This is Sierra on Dayquil. But who you become in the process of working towards your goals is as important, if not more, than crossing the finish lines of achievement. And I think it's really important to focus on that because yes, we're here to identify our vision and work towards that. But there's a lot of growth. There's a lot of introspection, self-awareness, self-responsibility. There's a lot that goes into the pathway to that finish line. And I really want you guys to consider how you've grown in the last 6 months. And if you even want to go deeper, how have you grown in the last 2.5 years since the pandemic started, as we kind of start rolling back to normalcy a little bit? So, yeah, how have you grown? And I'm curious, I'd like for you guys to participate in the comments because I think it's always fun to see how you've grown, lessons that you've learned. And here's the thing, I don't want you to quantify it. Size doesn't matter. So there's nobody coming along to judge your growth. Embrace all of it. And these are all questions that are going to be in the PDF to kind of help you. So don't feel like you're going to miss anything if you're not taking notes. But I'm curious. One of the things that I've talked about with our team is how much they've grown. And you two have done some amazing growth in the last couple of years. But do you guys want to share your stories at all?
Go ahead, Chrissy.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, go ahead, Darian. Yeah, okay. So I think before I talk a little bit about how I've grown, I think it's important to also like kind of give you a glimpse into what I was like a year ago, 6 months ago. So like I've been since 2015, like I've been the epitome of hustle culture. Like I've been growing different like small businesses and side hustles, and I've just been so focused on achievement and more and working towards like financial goals and like business goals and all of that stuff, to a point where my personal life and my health and my mental health was kind of like at an all-time low. So I think going into this year, I was kind of realizing that I needed to make a little bit of a shift. I wasn't fully committed to that shift, but I knew I needed to kind of make a little bit of a change. And the growth that I've seen over the last 6 months is like, looking back on it, it's huge for me, because I was also a person before I started really working in the Moxie Life system that was kind of a skeptic towards like personal development and reflection and gratitude and all of that stuff and sharing my feelings. These guys will tell you I'm not that person.
Boundaries. I'm always like, oh, come on.
Yeah. But I have seen so much growth in, I now have a more harmonious life. Like I have work hours. I spend so much more time with my kids. I'm happier all around. I've finally committed to like a health and fitness routine that I'm sticking to, and it's making me feel really great. So I wouldn't say I've achieved a lot of the goals that I've set in the beginning of the year, but I'm looking back at those goals through a different lens, and I'm realizing that they just don't really align with who I've become so far this year.
Yeah.
Oh, it makes me old to hear that. It is so good. That's a perfect example of as we grow, who we are when we set out to do anything in life, any decision we make. I mean, how many of you have like entered into college with a certain major and you are doing something completely different with your career? I mean, but there's not a lot of
Darian's laughing.
I mean, I was that kid that changed my major like 5 times. So
same.
My major was Italian. I don't speak Italian.
Oh, now I know like a new party trick for you.
Sure. Get me real drunk and I'll show you how I can speak Italian.
Challenges. That's it.
But I love that because that's a great example of who you are when you set goals at a certain point. And there's so many, this is why it was so important to me to create this system and get this messaging out, because so many goal systems and achievement and productivity is so based on like, go, and just rigid and don't give up. But it's like, yeah, but at what expense? And most of the time it doesn't leave room for the humanity and our growth. Like there's no room for growth, and identifying that this doesn't work for me anymore. And then, it's cool to hear you say, Chrissy, that, looking back, how much you've changed. I'm curious what the second half of the year is going to be. Do you have a certain focus with your newfound wisdom?
With my newfound wisdom. So I've really, in the last month, kind of found my groove with my health and fitness. And I really want to continue to do that, because I've hit some goals and that I've established care in a new state that I'm living in now. But that establishing of care has kind of led me down a path of, you kind of need to get your SHIT in order sooner rather than later. Yeah. So health and fitness is going to be a big commitment, or a big focus for me for sure. And then just finding more things to have fun, because I've increased in a lot of other areas, but my fun and recreation has kind of stayed the same because I still don't really know, like, what do I like to do for fun? So
Yeah.
I think exploring that a little bit more too.
I love that.
I do too. Yes.
What about you, Darian?
Yeah.
Okay. Whew. I feel like for me, the biggest thing I can speak probably within this last year was learning to rest and not quit. I know that's one of our Moxieisms. I think old me would have just been like, once I'm done with something, I'm done with it. Versus, you know what? Let me just put this on hold. I remember actually reaching, like, see, I was telling Sierra, like, with social media, like, I was the person, what, a year and a half ago, where I was doing all the things, YouTube and social media and working and side hustle, and very similar to Chrissy, hustle culture, where when I got pregnant, I had to just put things on a hold. And my mindset then was like, you know what? I'll just quit. Like, I'll just delete all the things and move on and pick up the next thing, right? But Sierra's like, no, just rest it, put it to the side, don't worry about it, and come back to it. And that's something that I've really been embracing, and knowing when to, like, just put things on a hold and leave them there and then come back to them when I'm ready. So that's been something that I feel like has been a big game changer for me. And then also really embracing, we were talking about this earlier, harmony, right? Versus focusing on the balancing of things. I was just at my compass assessment and I was like, oh my goodness, like, one of the ways that I had been feeling over the last 90 days was unbalanced, but really it was like a good unbalance. Like, there was days where I felt like I am killing it as a mom, go me. Then there was days where I was like, oh, I'm killing it on my job, but I was not a good mommy today, or I'm being a great wife today, but I'm sorry, I was not able to give my energy to this thing and such and such. And so, and realizing, you know what, that's life. And that's what this whole process and system is focusing on, is, helping me live more harmonious, right? Is that the word? Is that the word? Harmonious. Living in harmony versus trying to, like, balance and do all the things the right way at the right time. No, that ain't, no. So, like, there's days where, there's dishes in the sink and I gotta be okay with that.
Amen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'm giving you permission. If you're there's okay to have dirty dishes in your sink. It's okay.
It is. Yep. And if anyone judges you for it, gives you a hard time, they're not your people. Or tell them to go, invite them to do your dishes for you. So
listen.
Do my dishes.
Do not invite them over again.
Oh man. Okay, Darian, that's really awesome. And it's been so cool to see both of you guys grow in that way. And especially Darian, with you being a new mom, because the pressure is real. Like, as you make that transition, any transition, like, new jobs, any new role, new job, new parent, new relationship, new anything. It's like, there's a period of, like, destabilization where you've got to, like, figure out, and that pendulum swings, and, like, figure out where your comfort level is. And you've just owned it. So I'm, like, really happy. Killing it, girlfriend. Oh man. Okay. So, I love this. And, what I really want to focus on too is for you guys to make sure that you, those of you watching, that you acknowledge the setbacks and really try and get, like, whenever you're going towards a goal, or, like, let's say you write down your goals on your goals sheets and you look at it and you're like, I didn't get any of this done. Don't look at that as, here's all the ways I failed, or here's all the ways that I haven't followed through, right? That negative inner critic talk that comes in and starts telling us all the ways we're not great. Instead, look at it as information, because that's information too. Well, why didn't I get these things done? Is it because I was over, zealous with what I thought I could achieve or accomplish? Was this week a really hard week for me? Do I need to practice more self-compassion and kindness? And with that information, how do I roll that into the decisions that I make for my focus for the following week or the following month? And do that with the second half of the year as well. If you're looking at the first half of the year and you're like, man, I don't know where this time's gone, or things didn't go the way that I wanted to. If they did, awesome. Keep going with that. Keep running with that ball. But if you're not, like many of us are, let that be information for you as you kind of recalibrate and refocus for the second half. Okay. So Consideration number 2. This is one of my favorites, and I talk about this all the time in our business. And I think this has probably been one of the most, and Darian has been around the
Sorry,
longest.
I seen the question. And I was like, yeah, that's like this.
Go ahead. I want you to share this one. Because yes, share this one, because Darian has heard me the most, and she has embraced this the most. But
yes. So the next question that you should be thinking about that I love is, what excites you right now? What are you drawn to? I love this. I love that this is a big part of just even our business model here at Moxie Life. As we're looking at our goals, like it's one thing to take a step back when we take am I still excited about the same things I was excited about at the beginning of the year? What am I feeling drawn to now? And I love this because I remember last year when I had to just kind of take a step back from things. And for me, and one thing we're always talking about is following your flow. Like, where's your energy at? And what's getting you excited about? And for me, that's how, when I took a step back and decided to rest, for me, I discovered this world of digital planning. And I just was like, this is really cool. And I went down this rabbit hole and was texting Sierra at 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, Eastern Standard Time, saying, why don't we have a digital planner?
And now you've converted all of us.
Yeah, digital planner, show up in the comments. I want to see. Give us a heart.
Yes. It was something that started exciting me, and I was like, okay, we got to do this. And Sierra was like, you know what? Here you go. You take this and run with it. And it's been really cool. And so when you're revisiting your goals, this is something to think about. So
and I don't think that we give ourselves enough permission, because we keep thinking, well, I've got to just keep showing up. I've got to keep doing it. If I'm doing something, whether or not it resonates with me, as long as I'm doing something, I'm being productive, and that funnels into my sense of self-worth and other people's opinion of my worth and all that stuff. But sometimes it's okay to be like, time out. I need to integrate all this stuff. I'm not really feeling this, and the energy's not there for me. And then to sit back and take a breath and give yourself that space. Rest, don't quit. And then come back. You'll know when you're ready. It will tap you on the shoulder, but you've got to be listening, and you've got to create the space, and you've just got to create the space for that to happen. But if you're constantly going, it won't happen. And then that's where the beauty comes. That's how Moxie Life came to fruition. And that's how, parts of our business have grown, and how we are able to step into our passions and our self-expression fully, because we've created space for that. So yes. So what excites you? Follow the energy, and don't be too quick. Notice, oftentimes, just beware, words of caution. Your inner critic will pop up and be like, bah, but you can't do that. You don't have time. You're too busy. What will people think? Blah, 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 blah. Don't go there. So when you're filling out these questions, or you're asking yourself, if you're taking a shower and that's where you're going to answer this question, or if you're going to go through the PDF, give yourself 40 seconds of answering this question without qualifying it and judging it, and see what pops up for you, and plant that seed, because you never know where that can go. Don't disqualify it before you get a chance to actually acknowledge that it exists. So I want
to know in the comments, what excites you? Let us know. We want to know what you're drawn to. What things are exciting you, because honestly, it feeds off one another,
Yeah.
Chrissy, what's been exciting you lately?
Well, when you first said that, I was like, lying in my pool and reading a book is really exciting to me right now.
Because you have fun and recreation goals.
Yeah. But then when Sierra, you were talking about the kind of excitement, creeping back in, once you kind of have the space for it, I feel like that's YouTube for me right now, because like I said, YouTube for so long was this hustle thing. You have to post multiple times a week or you're not going to succeed, yada, yada. And now I'm starting to feel it kind of creep back in and be like, I actually really enjoy doing this and I miss it. But I'm also really hesitant to jump back in right this second. I'm kind of waiting and sitting on that excitement for a little bit, because I don't want to jump in and go all in until I'm actually ready. So
I love that. I love it. What about you, Dee?
I was like, well, wait, I was ready to ask you a question. Hold up. Yes, rewind.
Okay. Let's do it.
Because I seen this comment moment. And I'm really, for people who are like, I wish I knew what I seen this where it was like, I wish I knew what excite me. What little piece of snippet or advice would you give someone who doesn't know where to start when it comes to maybe figuring that out?
Yeah, that's a great question. And you know, all of us are so different. We all come with our own things that like get in our way. We talk a lot about this kind of and sort through this, or have the opportunity to sort through this in Club Moxie, you know, just through little pieces, because it's really where you find what sets your heart on fire, or what you really desire to have in life. Really, truly, actually comes from really leaning into your curiosity and your self-reflection, and expanding your self-awareness, because we unconsciously subscribe to a whole lot of rules and standards and expectations that we maybe didn't quite sign up for. And so sometimes there's some unlearning that needs to happen before we can fully step into that. It can be a very complex process, which is really cool. It's a lifelong journey, but just if I was going to say it succinctly, and like the first step is write down a list of things that, like, when you are, I like to look at, like, what do I search on Google? Like, if I had an hour to just do nothing, what would I seek to absorb? Where would I choose to either put my energy, my time, my body? Where would I choose to spend my time? If it's like, if you're drawn to maybe going and working out, maybe it's, you know, explore that. If it's going out and being in nature, maybe it's that. Maybe it's absorbing information or learning a new skill. What are those things? So what would you do if I gave you an hour right now and no one was going to interrupt you, and you could do whatever you wanted besides take a nap and eat and tend to your basic needs? What would you do with that hour? And lean into that and give yourself permission to explore. Like, you may go down this path and be like, yeah, not for me. And just, but with the absence of action, you will never know. So just take action, figure it out, start being really curious. What sets my soul on fire? And put Post-it notes everywhere. Ask yourself that. What excites me? Where's my energy at? With no rules. Yeah,
that's
and
good.
Be willing to try things that might not actually excite you.
Yeah. Yeah. And hate it. Like, come up with a list of things you hate too. Like, be like, I'm going to come up with things that I have completely written off that will never be in my, you know, line of sight, that I'll never be interested in. Like, collect not
camping.
Just. Yeah. What was that?
Yeah.
For me, camping.
Camping. No. But for me last year, it was cookie decorating. I was like on this, I don't even know what you would call it, but I was just binge watching people decorating cookies. And I was like, I want to do this. This looks so much fun. I did it once and I was like, this is way too freaking long. First of all, there's too much prep work involved. I'm not doing this again.
See, I find myself doing that too. I remember I have a creative streak as well, and I will pick up new creative things. Like, for a while there, I had collected a bunch of, this was like 10 years ago, you know, the felt animals that you can make by you know, they're really cute. And I bought all this stuff to make felt animals, and I still have it in my garage. And I don't know why. I thought I would have time or even really interest to sit down and make these tiny little felt animals. But I can tell you, I don't like making felt animals, but I thought I would try it out. So don't be afraid to explore and then realize that doesn't work for you.
Yeah.
Somebody asked if this was going to be saved. Yes, everything that we always put out like this will always be saved. It'll be on our YouTube channel for Team Replay. Hey guys. Also in our free Facebook group, it'll be there as well. So you can always come back and rewatch.
Yes.
Okay. Do we have questions before I jump into the next one?
No. Oh, yeah.
Don't ask me that one you saved. Don't ask me that one I saved. I
don't know. What is it?
Go ahead, Chrissy. Can you do it, Chrissy? Oh, my bad. There we go.
Oh, yeah.
How do you say just begin in Italian? That's our first question of the night, Chrissy.
Well, according to Google, I told you, I majored in Italian, but unless I'm in Italy, I'm how do I say hello? But if I'm in Italy, I can get by and have conversations. I au paired there and I could speak to the people who didn't speak English, but whatever. Anyway, according to Google, it's solo l'inizio. Which reminds me of Silencio Bruno. I will just put that out there.
Oh man. I feel like we need to put that on an Apollos bag.
In Italian?
Yeah, why not?
No, because it's 100% not grammatically correct.
Okay. I'm spilling stuff over here. Yeah. I love it. Oh, that's amazing. Every once in a while, I don't know if you guys know this, but Chrissy, are you from Ireland or you just live there for a significant amount of time?
I was born in New Jersey, moved to Ireland when I was 12, lived until I was 25, and then moved back to North America. But I have an Irish passport. Like, I'm Irish.
Yeah. So every once in a while, she'll say something and her Irish accent comes through. And her husband, Gary, is from Ireland and he has a full-blown accent. I just love talking to them. It's amazing.
What did I say that my Irish accent came through?
When you say Gary's name.
Oh, Gary. Yeah.
Gary.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just love the way you say his name. It's cute. Okay. So remember, follow your energy, follow the energy. What excites you? Where are you curious? Where does your curiosity start to peak, and follow that. Go there, go and explore, spend some time there. Yes. Okay. And the last consideration, and again, you guys, all of the questions that we have in the PDF that is in our free Facebook group and will be going out in the email are going to kind of incorporate all of this and kind of bring it together. It's a very simple PDF. We know time is short for many of you. So we wanted to make it really easy. But the last one, and I love this because we talk about embracing the messy bits here. We love embracing the messy bits. We are not all about like, oh, just focus on the happy, shiny bits. But what is not working for you? Mm-hmm. What is not working for you? Start there. Instead of trying to like take the ball and run across that finish line as fast as you can while 10 other things are falling apart, like come back a little bit and like re-rack what is not working for you and be honest with yourself. And those things, if you can be honest and take, heavy consideration of what those things are, those are the quickest ways. That's a low-hanging fruit to significantly positively impact your life. So what's not working for you and come up with what that is. And so anyway, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine the other day. We're talking about midlife. Anyone else in midlife? Can we just, girls, I can't wait till you get there. You just call up Mama Sierra and I'll be like, oh, I'll help you out. Midlife's interesting. And, we were talking about like, it kind of sucks in a lot of ways, but it's also really freaking amazing in other ways. But I was like, embrace the suck. Like, where's the suck? Find the suck, wherever that is, and identify what those things are. And then what's one thing you can do to just shift it? What's one thing you can do to take it head on so that you don't feel like you're taking in the whole world or all the things that are like plaguing you or bothering you, but what's the low-hanging fruit? And a really quick mindset shift that I want to give you guys. Oftentimes when we think about goals, we're like, what is that big thing that we're going to do? I want you to start being lazy with your goals. What is the low-hanging fruit? What is something you can accomplish with the least amount of effort and the quickest amount of time to get momentum going for you so that you start to feel good and excited about the action that you're taking? So you don't always need to go for those big things. Like, what is the easiest thing that you can do to start shifting things in a positive way? So I'll shut up and let you guys talk, but get your thoughts.
What's not working, Darian?
I mean, I'm just sitting here like, yeah, I mean, you pretty much said everything. For me, I think what's not working, and it's even as I say it, I feel like there's like this resistance, like, what is routine? I think I've been trying to like nail down like, oh, routine has to look like this. I got to wake up at 6:30 a.m. because it's 6:30 a.m. something like hot girl summer. Bump that. Like, I don't got to wake up at 6:30 in the morning if it's not working for me. Like, and I'm supposed to read I'm supposed to do all these good things in the morning and develop this. Yeah, exactly. Who says who? But I just kind of like thrown that whole routine out the window because one, my schedule is irregular, my husband's schedule irregular, like, and things are constantly changing. And for me, it's been like flexibility has been working, but routine it has not been working in this season of life. And so having to be more adaptable, but just knowing that there's rhythms and like things that I can try to do every single day, but I don't have to do them at the same time every single day, right? And so for me, that's kind of what is not working for me, but working for me.
You're still in the first year of motherhood. Like, let's not forget that.
I know.
Thank you. Come on, help me with. See, come on, reminding me of my grace. I got to give myself grace.
Yeah.
That's my word of the year. So
I literally feel like I just got it together, and my daughter's turning 2 on Wednesday. So I'm like,
it's hard.
Yeah, so hard. Give yourself grace for sure.
For sure. Yeah, flexibility is like, and lots of grace. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm glad you brought that up too, because we're going to be talking about rhythms and routines in Club Moxie in September. Are we? Yeah. Because I think that's important. I am not a routine person, but I love rhythms. And I think it's important for us to acknowledge too that like seasons of life will dictate and have different needs for rhythms and routines. For ourselves as well as for those that we maybe caretake for, that really have a really big influence on where our time and energy goes. What about you, Chrissy? What's not working for you in your life right now?
I feel like I just went through a big like life awareness session where like I kind of took all the things that weren't working and flipped them on their heads. Like for me, it was like getting up in the morning and making my kids lunches in the morning. I was like, it makes the morning too chaotic. I'm going to make them the night before. So now I do that religiously now. It was waiting and doing my workout like after I drop my kids off, because then I'll never do it because my brain's involved then. So I'm like, no, you got to shift it. You have to do it in a place that like you'll actually do it, because that's what's important to me. But I mean, looking at my life right now, I don't know what's not working for me. I feel like I'm just kind of in a good place after like a long time. So I'm kind of just embracing that.
I love it. That's perfect. What about all of you in the comments? Tell us what's not working for you. If you had a magic wand and could fix something in your life, what would it be?
What about you, Sierra?
Yeah.
Oh, I was wondering, I'm like, I hope they don't ask me. Man, I feel like a big bag of nonsense right now. So I have so many things going on in my life. Like there's so many shifts that are just amazing, like really great and very like self-affirming, I guess is the best way to describe it. I would say right now, I have really shifted the boundaries and the communication that I have in my life with my relationships. And I've realized how much I advocate for others, but not always for myself. And I realized recently that is not working for me. And so I've become very bold in my communication and unapologetically, and it feels freaking amazing. And that is my focus for like right now. And with that has made me feel really darn good, because I'm saying things that I maybe didn't feel comfortable saying before, and I'm acknowledging them. And by putting things into the light, I'm immediately seeing things shift and change in a positive way. And I was scared of that before. And now I'm like, no. So I'm getting momentum with that. And that feels really good. So that's what I would say. I'm kind of in this more introspective, internal processing instead of external, because I've done a whole lot of external stuff the last couple of years. And now it's about me, and I'm loving it.
Come on. Yes.
Okay, so those are the 3 considerations. And again, you guys, the reflections will be on that PDF. I wanted to make sure that we have time to take some questions. I also wanted to share with you guys, a lot of questions have come in about Club Moxie. We just opened up registration right now, and how it's been is it's a continuous membership program, coaching program that we only open up for a week, but we are considering shifting that a little bit. So this will be the last time that it's going to be released the way that it is. And we're not sure how we're going to structure it for Q4. Don't worry if you're all in there, don't worry about it. You're all good. But the registration is open right now. If you're interested in learning or coming up with a second half plan, like actually taking this information and turning it into specific goals for all the areas of life and working through that with us, we're going to be doing that in July. We're going to be talking about the power of reflection and leaning into that. We also are going to give you a lot of sneaks on some products, and you'll have a chance to try it out in August, about reflection. And then we're going to talk about the rhythms and routines, which Darian covered today in September. So anyway, I wanted to talk about that real fast. Chrissy, you want to give just a real quick, before we take questions, you want to chat about, and we also have a sale for all of you guys listening. So hang on. We're going to give you some information on it.
Submit your questions now. Well, yeah, Chrissy gives us the 411. Yes.
Yes. So if you don't know what Club Moxie is, essentially it's our community membership program where we dive a lot deeper into personal development, mindset, personal growth, kind of take you a little bit further than what you get in the pages of your planner. So you have the essentials within your planner, but this is for if you want to go further with that support and that learning. That's what Club Moxie is. So this is we've been doing it for over a year now.
Yeah. Of last year was when we launched.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah. So doors are open until the 1st of July. So if you want to get in, I know Sierra said this is the last time we're going to be opening it in this way, but you will have a chance to join again this year. It'll just be in a different format. I just wanted to make sure that you knew that.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have a lot of fun in there and people are making incredible progress. Bonnie says the answer to all your Club Moxie questions is sign up. You won't regret it. Bonnie's making serious moves in her life thanks to Club Moxie. Not thanks to Club Moxie. I'm not taking credit for that, but you're making serious moves in your life.
Yeah. No, and it's great because, and of course there's like a topic every month with a workbook. And if you don't get to the workbook, we always talk about like just push play. And even passive learning, if you don't have time for all of that, don't even worry about it. Like just show up in every way that you possibly can. There's a bunch of different resources. We have a private podcast. You don't have time to like show up for the video. You can listen to it to work or as you're doing dishes or going for a run or whatever. And so there's a lot of perks and ways that you can participate. And then you also get all of the content from the beginning of the year. And we've got a ton of content in there as well. So plus Darian and Sarah are doing Zooms, check-ins on goals once a month too, which is amazing. And we've got a Q&A with Tracy and I. She is a therapist who's getting her PsyD her PsyD. And so anyway, her and I tag team from a life coach therapist perspective, and you guys can pick our brains. And so it's not just training and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, we would love to see you guys.
And we just had our first guest this year. Last week. We just had Casey Davis on, who, if you don't know her, she does domestic blisters on TikTok. She's like a psychologist, right? I can't remember her credentials, but she's amazing. And that Zoom that we did last week was just like mind blowing. So we're hoping to get some more guests in for Q3 too to kind of keep the momentum.
We've got some, we're in the ear of some other best-selling authors that over the next year that we want to bring in. And it's just great to have a different perspective. And the way that we've structured the quarters is there's usually kind of a deeper dive in the first month of the quarter. The second month is a little bit more kind of looser, more like loose action oriented. And then we have like a momentum month where it's like power appointments. What can you do in 15 minutes or less in this particular area with that focus? And this month we're talking about physical environment. And Casey's amazing. If you're struggling at all with physical environment or care tasks, cooking, cleaning, laundry, any of that kind of stuff, because you feel burdened and overwhelmed, if you want to kind of get more help and have a more equitable or fair division of labor in your home, she's an amazing, amazing resource. So her website is it strugglecare.com?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So check that out. Okay. So we're going off on tangents. Sale.
Yes. So just for you guys, and we'll be sharing it in the email list too for anybody who wants to watch the replay. Just for full disclosure, we are running a special 48-hour only sale. So we're doing 40% off all planners except our flagship because they're already like really, really reasonable, using the code REFRESH. So companion notebook, 6-month undated, and our daily planners, 40% off using the code REFRESH. So you can have all the tools you need to kickstart the second half of the year. And hopefully you'll join us inside Club Moxie, and then you'll get even more.
Yeah. Yeah. And we've got some fun products coming in fall, and I'm so excited. So we need to move whatever inventory we have. So snatch up whatever you need now. There's a lot of undated products in there too. So if you want to like stockpile, this is the time to do it. Okay. Let's see. We talked about Club Moxie registration is closing on July 1st, and 40% off will be ending in 48 hours. So if you are team replay, that means the 29th.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's do July 1st. We'll set it.
Yeah, I'll take it.
July 1st. There we go.
Okay. All right. A couple things okay, let's go ahead and take questions. We got them?
Yes. Okay. So our first question is actually from Bonnie that she had asked us on Facebook. Bonnie had asked, I have it right here. Can you identify any tips on how to identify progress and wins that aren't very obvious? Bonnie had said earlier, it seems that some of her goals haven't really gone anywhere because, but she knows that they have. She just can't pinpoint the actual growth in a measurable way. So if you had any tips on how to do that.
Yes, absolutely. This is really great, especially because we talk about leaning into who you're becoming. A lot of that stuff, that growth and learning and who you're becoming in the process towards your goals are intangibles. They're not something you can point at or quantify or identify externally. And so one of the things that I think is really important are leaning into your reflections. So whether you incorporate them into your weekly planning, which we have in our system, or even monthly, if, doing it weekly, what are your wins? What's working? What's not working? Adjustments that you want to make, that kind of stuff. That's going to help give you insight into those intangibles, because you're going to see how you've shifted and grown and how your mindset has shifted and grown. And Bonnie, I know specifically watching your process since the beginning of the year is really significant. And I would actually beg to differ that you've made some huge progress on tangible goals. They may not have been what was written on paper, but that's okay, because you're taking so much action. But, I would say whenever, one thing that I do, because I am one of those people that when I cross the finish line, my sense of accomplishment and excitement about that is very fleeting. And unfortunately, it's like that for most of us. So I actually have an accomplishment list, and I do gratitude every day. So that helps me see my growth. I'm seeing what I'm able to recognize and have gratitude for. But I also keep track of wins throughout my month, and I keep that in my planner, and I tend to that every single day. So I do my gratitude, and then I'll reflect on things that stand out to me that are meaningful and impactful and shifted things for me internally or externally that aren't necessarily goals. And so I would highly recommend leaning into doing that and incorporating that into like either your daily, weekly, or monthly planning to reflect on all of the good, all of the things that are working, and how you've grown over whatever period of time you're considering. That's what I would recommend. Plus we actually have some reflection journals coming out at the end of this year in fall that will also help you with guided questions that will kind of keep bringing you into that space. But the intangible I know, right? You guys are, for those of you who are not in Club Moxie, it's really funny because when we go live with Chrissy, her title is the Beans Police, because for those of you who don't know, I am infamous for spilling beans before I'm supposed to, because I get so excited. I'm like, oh, you guys want to see? And now before I had a team, I would just spill beans. Like, oh, you guys want to see?
You would. I remember you just tell us everything.
I'm amazing with other people's secrets, but like with my own and I'm excited about, I'm like, oh, no, let's share it. I get way too enthusiastic. So anyway, Chrissy has to rope me in, because sometimes it's not good to share stuff before it comes out, 6 months later.
I have a hat coming. That says Beans on it.
Perfect. As long as
every time you go to spill some beans, I'm just going to pop up in the lives like, Nope.
I'm waiting for everyone to ask. Okay, so give us some more beans.
Oh yeah, we got some beans. We do have another question where someone did ask us, will there be another Apollos bag?
Yes, there will.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, we took a little break on those. Supply chain issues have been really exciting for us to navigate this year. So lots of opportunity for growth. But all of us have all been experiencing like supply issues and whatnot. Apollos, I noticed on a reorder that we just wanted to push pause on that. So now we're ready to like move forward with some more bags for fall. So yes.
Yes, love that. And then another question that I see comes from Lisa. I believe this is referring to Club Moxie. What kind of different format for Q4, if you're able to share?
Hey, Lisa. I was just talking with her on Instagram. Okay. The different format. So we're not doing anything different regarding the format for Club Moxie. I don't know if you're talking about like registration and how we're going to do that moving forward. We haven't figured that out yet, but the format's exactly the same. We do the monthly training. You've got our workbooks, like the meaty part of our workbooks, because there's note pages and whatnot, and some repetitive pages are 20 to 25 pages. And we've also got the Q&As, the private podcast, the Zoom calls. I'm totally drawing a blank. What am I forgetting?
You said your training. You said the monthly. Yeah, I think you said everything.
Girls.
The accountability check-ins.
Okay, yes. Anyway, so Lisa, feel free to ask. If I did not answer your question, either DM me or ask in the comments. You know what?
I think she was talking about the like opening for it.
Oh, got it. Yeah, we haven't figured that out, but we'll definitely give you a heads up on that.
Yes, and Michelle reminded us guests. We also have guests from time to time.
Yes, and you guys get so whoever is in Club Moxie, by the way, I just want to say this: whoever's in Club Moxie in Q3, you're gonna get all the beans because we're launching in October and it goes through to October. So if you want to see what covers, you want to see artwork, you want to know products, and there's one product. Don't worry. There's the eyes. There's one product
that I'm like, is she gonna say it? And Christy's like,
no, she's not.
There's one product that I have been working on for 2 years that it will be launching in fall. And
Yes.
say,
and I will say a few people have guessed it.
Beans.
I've seen a few people guess it.
I hope there's a lot of guesses, otherwise that's going to be a narrow, like.
Well, it wasn't today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
somebody somewhere at some time.
Somebody somewhere, yeah.
That's helpful.
I think that's all our questions for now. So
okay, you guys, this was so fun. Oh, we were just talking about how it's so different to do lives like in our training, like our formal trainings for Club Moxie, which we love, but it's also really fun to just do these like chit chats with you guys. Should we do it more often? Should we do it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that a question?
Yep. No.
No, it's not a question.
No. Okay. Are there any other important I'm going to see this right now. I'm going to give you guys the reflections so you guys know what you're getting in the actually no, just download the PDF. I have a couple like hurting tips for you guys. I can't stress this enough. As much as we love planning, as much as we love paper and pens and all the fun, pretty things, and we get really excited about that, I really want to encourage you for the second half of this year to get your plans on paper and then shut the book and go. Take action. Don't stay in your head. Don't overthink it. Be curious. Be playful. Be willing to try things on. Be willing to fail. Be willing to go down a path and be like, nope, not for me, and back out and go down another path. It's action, not planning, that is going to make change in your life. Okay? You can plan all day long. You're not going to get anywhere. So get out of your head, get out of the paper, and start taking those first steps. Again, if you need support for that, this group is a great group to cheer you on to do that in Club Moxie. But yeah, so get out of your head. As you start like diving into like where the energy is for you, like what what you are curious about and what does pique your interest, take that emotion and put it into action and take small steps. Don't worry about like what that finish line is going to be. Because sometimes so often we've been trained to like look at goals as like, it's here. Now, what are all of the steps? Reverse engineer your life and be like, what is something I can do tomorrow that's just going to move me forward a little bit in that one area, or move me closer to what it is that like I'm curious about or that I have energy for, and see where that takes you, because you'll have so many amazing, beautiful surprises that will come up for you. So do that.
That's so good. Just say it one more time, because even if you're not saying it for them, you can say it again for them, because I'm just over here like, she just said that. And I just immediately was like, ooh, there's resistance. There's this tension. When you said reverse engineer that, I was like, that's so true. Because we're taught like, here's your goal, and we got to break it down into these steps to get. So just say it again for us. Help us out. Help us out.
Reverse engineer those goals and start working, or take a small step, and it doesn't have to be huge. And again, go lazy with those steps. So many people get in their own way thinking that something has to have extreme effort and planning and all this. Like, we've been taught that it has to be all this. No, like, what's simple? What's easy? What's that first thing that you can do that's going to lead you down a path? And from there, you can hopefully find and identify a bigger goal. But don't get so stuck on that big goal and try and figure out all the steps. And it gets messy. It's really demotivating to do things that way. And so have a spirit of playfulness and curiosity as you go into the second half of the year. And I just am sending you all big hugs and congratulations for getting through the first half of 2022.
Yes.
Just begin. Yes, just begin. Absolutely. Thank you, everybody.
If that's one thing that I got, is y'all, we have permission to get lazy. I'm here for that. Yes, I'm with that. Yes.
Productive lazy. Like, it's a great lazy. Yeah. It is a productive rest. Productive laziness.
You go lie in that pool and read your book.
Yeah, absolutely. You know why? Because you're going to come back and be like, I'm ready to do something, because that's who you are. Like, yeah. There's no such thing as lazy. All right, you guys, we love you. I hope for those of you who are going to join us in Club Moxie, I can't wait to see you on the other side. If not, that's cool too. We're going to hopefully start doing this more. And then again, if you don't have our system and you are curious about what we do, go to our website, moxielife.com, MAKSELIFE.com. Go use that 40% off coupon if you need any tools, but there are all of our freebies on there. There is a compass assessment that you can use. It guides you to figure out how you're doing and kind of get a starting point for all 8 areas of your life. And it's all there for free. So enjoy. And we are here. If you need anything at all, you can always email us at hello@MoxieLife or show up on our social media. The whole team is monitoring all of our stuff, and we're here for you guys. So we love you.
Love y'all.
Bye.